Sports Union, the best in local Seattle sports commentary. My name is Abraham DeWeese, and with me today are Robert English, right up here in the corner, and one Matthew Page. How's it going, guys?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Excellent. We saw a great game today, and a great game, I mean a fantastic victory by our hometown 11. Guys, when we saw the Seattle Seahawks go out there, finally looking to have some semblance of their full strength, it made me feel like, great, we're on a roll. We're about to conquer this division. We are about to conquer this conference and hopefully conquer the entire NFL. I saw us go out there with Thomas Rawls. I saw us go out there with a healthy Russell Wilson. Next week we get Michael Bennett. I'm excited, guys. Are you guys excited?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. I mean, today we saw the type of football that we've been looking for all season long. We looked dominant throughout. It was a great day, and we hope this continues moving forward.
All right, guys. I want to review tonight's victory against, what was it, 26-15?
26-15, yes.
Against the Eagles, and I want to get each of your key plays of the game. Well, one play from each of you. A key play. Matt, what was the best play of the game? What's the game that made you say, This is where we're going to win this game?
I'd have to say it was very early in the game. It was CJ Procise, and it was him sprinting off downfield and for the races. He took off running. He showed us what a dynamic future talent he is going to be for this team. It's unfortunate that he then left the game, of course, and we lost him. Now we found out potentially after update 8 weeks, but. What it did is it gave us a sample of the future, because you put him in that backfield with a dynamic, potential catching threat, running threat. You had Rawls in there for the physical part of the running game, and this offense becomes that much more dangerous. And some of the heat comes off of Russell Wilson to run the ball, which I like because he kind of scares me every time he runs. I don't want him to get hurt.
Matt, you're a college football fan. You've seen a lot of CJ Procise at Notre Dame. Did anything about today's game surprise you in two ways? One, that breakaway speed where there wasn't a guy within 15 yards of him. And then two, the injury concerns. He was injured earlier this year and now injured yet again.
I am a little surprised that he's turned out to get hurt. I think it's more bad luck than anything. The early word on what his injury is to his shoulder and rotating cuff, from what I've read, is it's kind of a fluke injury. It's one of those things that just kind of bad luck more than anything. So I'm not ready to write the book as he's too brittle yet. I really don't. That'd be kind of rare for someone with his talent. So I'm still pretty excited about his future. And if you do the math, 8 weeks, if we secure a first round bye in the playoffs, he'll be back for the divisional round playoff.
Rob, what's your key play of the game?
Well, Ian pretty much hit it on the head with the Procise run early in the game. That was huge. But I also like that Cam Chancellor was able to get himself a pick later on in the game. It just definitely shows that his presence on the field is key. As far as us on defense, and him being able to be his normal enforcer self and able to come up with the pick, I think that was huge as well.
That top shelf pick right about the 30-second mark with the halftime about to expire, that was fantastic. Now, guys, my play of the game was actually a normal play. It wasn't anything fantastical. It wasn't that Cam Chancellor, 50-inch vertical leap. It wasn't that 72-yard barn burner. It was actually a 3 to 4 yard run by Thomas Rawls. Saw this kid back. I loved it. He finished the game with 15 carries and 50-something yards. I dug it. I really dug it. Are you guys' concerns alleviated by the strong offensive performance that you saw today against a really strong defense in the Philadelphia Eagles? What do you think, Rob? Are you feeling a lot better about this offense and Darrell Bevell's scheme?
Well, my answer would be yes, because it would be yes. Like I said, today was. It was almost maybe not a perfect game, but it was an excellent game offensively. The reason it's not yes is because we did suffer some injuries today, and moving forward, how those injuries are going to affect us. It kind of leaves a question mark now. Really, I thought this was us turning the corner, really. But now we don't really, I don't know if there's any update on Earl Thomas yet. That we're down 2 running backs. It's who knows now. So but yeah, really, I mean, to be honest, yeah, I think it was great, and I'm definitely breathing easier.
Okay, Matt, slight alteration of the question. The Philadelphia Eagles came in as the 3rd best scoring defense and the 7th highest rated total defense. Was this a matter of the Seahawks and Darrell Bevell, as far as the offense, taking them to the woodshed, or was this defense overrated?
You know, I have to think it's a little bit from column A and a little bit from column B, to be honest. I've never really had that much confidence in Darrell Bevell and his game plans, but we do have nothing but dynamic playmakers on our team, and they find a way to get the ball in their hands. We're led by, Russell Wilson, and he finds a way to get that ball into the hands of the people who can make it work the best. And it's clutch performances on our offense, and it's the other side of the ball that they're playing in the NFC East, which might actually be a little bit soft if you think about it. If you've got the Cowboys on top and they're running with a rookie running back and a rookie quarterback, it kind of makes me question that division. So, I mean, maybe they're kind of more of a paper tiger than, as you were calling them earlier on, than I originally thought. But I'm still definitely very optimistic. I mean, Troymaine Pope, yeah, he went out, but he's a high ankle sprain, so hopefully he'll be back pretty quickly. And it's like I said, it's unfortunate to lose Procise, but
right. So I have been, of the 3 of us, the most vocal anti-Bevel guy. I know Rob's right up there with me, and I know Matt's kind of in the same neighborhood here. But if I'm going to turn the show on its ear, I actually have to give some props to Bevel, because the end-around run to Baldwin, where he threw it for a 15-yard touchdown pass to Russell Wilson, was exactly what I've been wanting to see for a while. I want to see something a little bit different out of this squad. The use of CJ Procise is exactly what I wanted. I got a great article out there on SeattleSportsUnion.com. It's from July 22nd, and I listed CJ Procise as the steal of the draft. And definitely go read that. I thought it was great that we used him. It's awesome to have Thomas Rawls back, but Darrell Bevell showed me something today that I hadn't seen in quite a while from the guy.
He went. Hold on one second. Procise went in the 3rd round. You know who else the Seahawks drafted in the 3rd round?
Who else?
Russell Wilson.
Okay.
So watch out for when the Seahawks are choosing somebody in the 3rd round. Watch out.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm sure if we go back far enough, we find somebody like, Sam Adkins in the 3rd round as well, or Steve Rabel. I have no idea.
We drafted Steve Rabel.
Hey guys, so you already touched on the running back situation. Procise out for 8 weeks. We're looking at Troymaine Pope with an injury of undetermined length. Kristen Michael traded.
Gone.
Or done.
He was claimed, yeah.
And Alex Collins on the backup list. He was inactive for the game.
He was inactive today. He'll be back next week.
Matt, what's the state of our running backs here? What's going on?
The honest truth is that we didn't see Rawls the 4th quarter at all, and I do believe it's because we didn't want to overwork him his first game back. The kid came back strong. He was steering into tackles, which is what the fierceness that we like to see, the physical running that we like to see. Everything we saw from him was excellent, but we don't want to push him too hard. So we're going to have to find some depth behind him. With Procise gone, we lose that dynamicness behind him, but we also don't have Christine Michael, like you said. So that leaves us with who? Pope, who's hurt, and Alex Collins from Arkansas, who we drafted this last offseason, who I don't, he's taking some flack, but I honestly don't think he's gotten a fair shake yet at the NFL level. He really didn't get very many carries in preseason because of who was ahead of him. And it seems like every time we hand the ball off to him in the regular season, he's hit before he even gets to the line. So what I'd like to see next week is him being given a full actual chance as the change of pace back when Rawls needs a break. And after, we wait and see is how he performs, how he steps up to it, give him every chance to be that successful guy that we know he can be. And if he doesn't cut it, then maybe after next week we'll have to assess what we're going to do.
Rob, you're a little bit reticent to give this offense your full stamp of approval. Is it due to these running backs, their injury situation, and who's available from week to week?
Yeah, and I don't want it to be misleading here. I'm ecstatic about the efficiency of the offense at this point. But with these injuries at the running back position, yeah, it definitely is concerning. I think Collins has a chance to be good. Like Ian said, we haven't really got a chance we haven't really got a good sample size really to go off of. But I wouldn't be surprised if we end up on the waiver wire looking for somebody to just sign someone. If we end up moving somebody low on the depth chart off the roster to bring in somebody else, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. Just because again, we haven't seen a very big sample size of Collins, and Pete and John like to have options. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, but. I think Rawls is poised to carry the load, and we're just keeping fingers and toes crossed that we don't end up something bad happening against Tampa, because then who knows?
Okay, what's your thoughts on Troymaine Pope though? Let's say he's not injured for too long. What do you like as far as his potential?
I think Pope has potential. He's another one who I just really haven't seen enough of him. But I think he does have potential to be good. Today, I mean, yeah, I'm for me, jury's out on Pope, but I'm looking forward to seeing what he's able to do, and I hope he's back soon.
And I just want to add in, we are past the trade deadline now, so at this point, if we're getting any help, we'd be off waiver wire, or anyone who's been sitting on their butt as a free agent for the whole offseason and beginning of the season. So the pickings are slim out there right now at this point. It's not like we can make a blockbuster trade or anything like that.
Yeah, you're basically looking at, like you said, the waiver wire.
Yeah.
You're looking at
practice squads.
Yeah, it's going to be rough going. I hope Pope isn't injured that long. What I've seen out of Pope and what I've seen out of Alex Collins, I like Pope a lot more. Earlier today, we saw a vicious block on the right defensive end, Fletcher Cox, by Troymaine Pope. Knocked him on his keister, and I love that. I love that, guys. Speaking of that left side of the offensive line, we saw George Fant go down due to injury, and for a series or two, in came Reese Odiombo, the 5th-round draft pick. The guy that I have been beating the drum for. I've beaten the drum for him. I've been beating the drum for CJ Prosise. I like Reese Odiombo. What did you think, Rob?
Got to tell you, when that happened, my heart sank, because I was like, "Oh my gosh, here we go." I mean,
wait! You're the guy. You're the number one guy that doesn't like George Fant.
I know this, but but what I'm saying is, with Fant, you already know I don't like Fant, but Fant was starting ahead of this guy, so I'm like, okay, the guy behind Fant can't be great. So, so I was like, oh my gosh, Fant isn't even good in my opinion, and now we got his backup in there, so
can't even beat him out. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So once this happened, literally, I was like, oh well, here we go. That's what I was thinking in my head. Here we go. But the guy came in and actually played well. Now I'm still concerned. I'm gonna put it like that. I'm still concerned. Let's see what happens if he ends up playing the whole game next week. And hey, hopefully maybe he's gonna show something that wasn't seen, and maybe that's the reason he was behind Fant. But hey, next man up. We got to keep on pushing.
Matt, 5th-round draft pick, Reese Odiombo. Hard to spell his name. In fact, I got it wrong on the email I sent earlier. But then again, I spelled a lot of things wrong on that email. But 5th-round draft pick out of Boise State. Obviously, the kid was not ready, not like Jermaine Ifedi. Thrust into the the thick of things against this strong defensive line against the Eagles. Did you see enough out of him where you want to see him again, or was Fant more capable than Odiombo?
I'm not very high on Fant myself, but I definitely would like to see more of Reese. I do think he has the talent to surpass him in a big way down the road. I know he's a bit of a project and a little raw, and they're working with him and getting him better. I was definitely encouraged by his results. I didn't get to see too much of him though, unfortunately, because you don't really show the offensive line play too much. But from what I could tell, he did an admirable job. And
when we were talking earlier, though,
that's what he's supposed to do.
When we were talking earlier, I was talking about Odiombo. I want to see him for the whole game.
Yeah.
But you kind of had it more from the approach that, Abraham, you're only seeing parts of it. I'm not seeing the whole
Well, you're not seeing, when you're watching TV like we are, because none of us can afford the $200 a game. Anyway, when you're watching it on TV, they don't really show and break down offensive line play as well as you really want them to sometimes, and so you really get to a very good look unless you're really really trying hard to watch for it, and you're oftentimes not trying to do that. So you really only notice when they really screw up, when they miss that block and that guy runs right on through and Russell has to run for his life, or when he there's a penalty, he causes a penalty or something like that.
Yeah.
But
okay, so
I think he did okay. I think he
okay. So it sounds like Rob, Matt, you're both very tempered on your response to his insertion in the game.
Overall optimistic, but we're the jury's out.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Optimistic, guys. KJ Wright threw in 10 tackles and a defended pass. Bobby Wagner, 15 tackles, and now leads the NFL in tackles. Why aren't these guys in the Pro Bowl every year? Why aren't they all pros every year? When are they going to get their due?
I think Wagner actually does get his due. It's Wright that doesn't, to be honest. I think Wagner's been in the Pro Bowl 3 times.
Even for the due that Wagner does get, he still doesn't get his due. You know what I mean? I think Seattle will always be plagued by the reality that they play in Southern Alaska. They tuck us up here in the corner, and we go generally unnoticed. Even as a Super Bowl champion, even as an NFC champion, we just typically go a little bit unnoticed. If we're not making the most noise on the planet, no one notices. Yeah. And so that's just always going to be the case. And to that as well, people are starting to just assume that Seattle's defense is good. So they don't take time. It seems everybody knows the NFL is East Coast biased. We all know that. But it seems that people don't really take time to notice the individuals in Seattle. We kind of like, hey, well, Seattle's defense is good anyway. Moving on. So
I'm getting tired of this though. All I ever hear for the last 4 years, all I've heard is, well, Bobby Wagner is good because this other guy.
But he's no Luke Kuechly.
Yes,
Kuechly.
He's no Luke Kuechly. Richard Sherman, he's no Darrell, Revis because he's got Earl Thomas. Well, Earl Thomas is no, name it.
I can't even name a competitor for Earl Thomas. Earl Thomas is so far better than everyone else.
Right.
You guys get what I'm saying though. It's like I'm getting tired of this conversation.
It is,
where everybody is. Okay, they're the best defense, but the individuals are made better by these other even greater individuals.
Yeah, they may give credit to the big names, Richard Sherman and Earl Thomas and Michael Bennett.
Richard Sherman. All I ever hear about the detractors from Richard Sherman is he's only good because Earl Thomas is playing next to him.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so but the thing is that they might focus on that. But they kind of lose the linebackers there in the middle of the defense. And honestly, I remember last year when Bobby Wagner was out for a while, and then he came back, and that first game he came back, from that point on, it was like night and day. He runs the middle of that offense or that defense.
Right.
Earl Thomas may be the captain and the leader of the whole secondary, but Bobby Wagner keeps the core and the linebackers and everyone on the line shifted the right way. And
Absolutely.
And he does so many other things on the field. And KJ Wright is just lost in the shadow for some reason. Like no one even notices him.
Well, okay. Well, Rob. Speaking of Matt's point, I want to get your opinion on this. Is it possible that there isn't any one specific guy that is the most important? I think everybody tries to ascribe Earl Thomas. You must be the most important. Bobby Wagner, you must be the most important. Is it possible on this defense, no one guy is the most important?
I suppose it's possible. To be honest, I think that we're really just that good. You know what I mean? We're really just that good. I mean, as far as those key positions, corner, safety, middle linebacker, these guys are just that good. I suppose it has to do with the system as well. And that I'm sure that plays into it. But for the system that they're playing in, they're just that good. So it's hard to make a case for either one of them to be the most important, because if any one of them were to be lost and not be on the field, it's going to be a significant issue. It's going to be a significant change in the makeup of what we do and what we're able to do. So yeah, I think we're just that good. That's the best way I can consider.
I like that answer. And with that answer, we're going to run to break. I just want to speak to all of you out there. Check us out. We have great articles here at Seattle Sports Union. Our website is seattlesportsunion.com. We have great recaps of each game. We have good previews. We have excellent insights into pretty much everything Seattle sports. We just got our media credentials for Seattle University, so you will see us on the sidelines down there. We're also at every Everett Silvertips game, and next summer, as well as last summer, you will have and you will be seeing us at Everett Aqua Sox games. We are Seattle Sports Union, and we'll be right back. Talk a little bit more about the Seahawks and the quarterbacks for each team. Wagner, 15 tackles. I mean, like, come on, man. Like, waiting for smoke to come out of us.
Yeah, his machine's really working hard over there. So I was telling you.
Welcome back to Seattle Sports Union. My name is Abraham DeWeese. With me today are Matt Page and Robert English. Welcome, guys. We have been talking about the Philadelphia Eagles against the Seattle Seahawks and the sound thrashing that our boys in blue had given to the Green Wonders from Philly. All right, guys. We saw a rookie quarterback come in from North Dakota State University, one Carson Wentz, and he went 23 for 45 for 218 yards, 2 interceptions.
Ouch.
And 2 touchdowns, though. Yeah. I want to get you guys' thoughts. What'd you think about this rookie going up against the Legion of Boom? Matt?
Okay, I guess I'll go first.
What'd you think about the rookie?
You know, he's a rookie, first of all. You got to take everything in grain of salt. He's going to make mistakes. 2 interceptions against Legion of Boom. It could be a lot worse. He threw the ball, how many times did you say? 40?
23 for 45.
45 times, so he could have gotten 45 interceptions. So it could have been worse. No, the reality is Carson Wentz is he's a great prospect. He has quite a bit of learning to do ahead of him. But I think he's going to develop into a pretty solid quarterback for them. I think they're going to be very happy down the road. But he's definitely going to experience some growing pains. And he went up against arguably the best defense in the league. And yeah, he didn't have the best day, but you know what? Tom Brady went up against the best quarterback, the best defense in the game, and didn't have a good day either. So, you know, it happens to every quarterback who faces this defense.
Rob?
Yeah, I think. Sorry, Abe. I think that today was just kind of par for the course. You know, I didn't expect Wentz to have a great day. Matter of fact, I would have been very much surprised. Number one at Wentz, but even more importantly at our defense, if he did come out there and have a great day. Case in point, Tyrod Taylor had a much better day against us than I would have expected when we were against Buffalo. You know, so I really didn't think that he was going to be able to come into the clink with all that pressure, all that noise, and then really go up against the LOB. Especially with us, we've been getting pressure on quarterbacks, you know, better than we have, you know, historically or in recent past anyway. I wasn't at all surprised about the difficulties that he had, but he did show some flashes, and you know, but that's going to happen. You know, you can't hold him down the entire game. You'd like to, but you typically can't. But yeah, I wasn't at all surprised.
Rob, what about losing Ryan Matthews and Darren Sproles? What did you see in Carson Wentz? Did he rebound well, or did he look like a deer in the headlights?
Yeah, if I'm going to be honest, I think the outcome of this game it hinges largely on the fact that those two guys went out. I mean, those are emergency outlets for him. Quite often when it's not open downfield, Sproles, if he gets the ball in space, he can do things to you. I think he put a nice move on Jeremy Lane early in the game before he went out. It was definitely harder for him without those two guys in the lineup.
Matt, at the college level at North Dakota State FCS level, he rarely ever lost a game. He's probably lost more games now.
He lost 2 or 3 games at the collegiate level, and as I mentioned in the broadcast, he actually has to get used to the concept of losing now that he's in the NFL. He had quite a sweet ride there with the Buffaloes and North Dakota State. Bison. I apologize to all North Dakota State alumni.
We have 2 or 3 championships.
2, I believe.
Yeah.
He they quite the sweet ride there, and it's quite an adjustment for a kid who's playing in small venues around the country in the Big Sky Conference to come into the clink and try and run an offense at an NFL level with the faster defense, with the best defense in the game, without your top playmakers, like you were saying there, Rob, about having the emergency outlets, and still try and keep some kind of cadence and deal with the noise and the intensity. It's kind of a culture shock to the kid, and I think he did pretty well considering the circumstances.
The noise is very important. I was actually wringing my hands when, at the beginning of the game, he had to have the audio level increased in his helmet to hear the plays that were called in. I think that this kid is actually going to go places. I think, with a little more seasoning, he'll be quite good. And compared to his stats up against Russell Wilson's, and if they compare favorably, he has a few more interceptions, but then again, it's part of that learning level, and he's got the mantle of leadership thrust on him, whereas Russell Wilson took it away from.
Russell Wilson already had it. Russell Wilson walked in that locker room and he had it. It was just done. He's a leader among men. He just had it, and Carson needs to kind of adapt to that.
So, all right, guys. Speaking of Russell Wilson, what did we see out of the guy today? We saw 18 of 31, 272 yards, a couple touchdown and a touchdown reception.
Well, what we saw from Russell Wilson today was brilliance. It was brilliance today from Russell Wilson. Not that I expected anything else, but he was on the spot all day. Didn't make any ill-advised passes. He ran with the ball well. He got down with the slides smartly like he should. I think you'd say it's a mistake-free game. And then on top of that, the guy went out there and caught a touchdown pass. I mean, it's
Rob,
absolutely.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best mobility and speed out of Russell Wilson, where do you think he's at right now?
I have to say he's probably at a solid 8, if not a 9. I don't think he's at 10 yet. But it's certainly a solid 8, and he's creeping up on 9. I mean, he's there. I think he probably is just maybe just a step off of where he normally could be and what he normally can do. But he's certainly back to dangerous.
Oh yeah.
All right, Matt. Is there something in his special water that he drinks? The special water that he drinks, the one that keeps him from getting concussions, the one that apparently heals legs and makes
water and electrolytes. There's nothing extra in that water.
There's no training involved.
If there is, I want a lot of it because I want to be able to run like that and make those plays. But one thing to point out about the reception, the touchdown, that was pretty cool. If you didn't notice, he actually had to change the route that he originally wanted to run. He was supposed to run out and around in kind of a wheel route and hit the corner, and he couldn't because of the thing. So he did a quick cut across, and he altered the route and still pulled it off just fine. So he showed his knowledge of running routes. And the best part, my favorite part, of course, was when they showed him there on the sideline afterwards, and he's talking to Baldwin and his receivers, and he's acting like, "Oh yeah, man," and I caught the ball. He was able to talk to the receivers as other receivers would at that point. He was one of the guys, and they all kind of laughed at him as he walked away.
I don't know where you're getting from. You're acting like Wilson had a route tree that he ran.
No, he had to alter it. He had to improvise, and he improvised well.
Okay.
Well, he was supposed like Matt said, it was a wheel route, supposed to be a wheel route. I think it was I don't know if it was the linebacker or the corner who shaded to the
Yeah,
outside.
somebody went way out,
So
so he had to
yeah,
cut
so
in.
he had to cut it inside, then inside as opposed to going all the way out like you would on a typical wheel route.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, hey, he did what he had to do, and he still got open. And Doug Baldwin, how about Doug Baldwin throwing a dime?
Oh yeah,
Just
perfect
chopped
throw.
a dime right in there.
Perfect
Yeah,
throw.
and he threw it while taking contact. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
that
What
was
really
He
good,
stood his ground and he threw it anyway. Yeah.
what was really good, was really cool, is usually those passes are by Jermaine Kearse.
Mm-hmm.
Doug Baldwin actually threw a wrinkle. He's usually not the one that does the pass out of the backfield.
I want to hear.
that may have been part of the tactic because maybe those guys, because you plan for those type of wrinkle plays. Maybe they know that okay, Curse might be the guy to throw the ball, so maybe that's why they had Doug Baldwin do it.
Not a part of my agenda. I just got a quick question about Kearse. Not really feeling Kearse, to be honest. I saw a couple plays where it just makes me think again that he's not in the long-term plans for this team. I believe that Lockett and Richardson have superseded him as far as talent and skill level. I want to get you guys' I know I'm bagging on a guy in the midst of a 7-2-1 season, but I didn't see anything in him that I want to see him as a number 2 receiver on this team. I want to get you guys' thoughts on Kearse.
Go ahead, Matt.
I've never been very high on Curse myself. I never really saw it in him. He just had that knack to make the impossible catches, the catches that no one in their right mind should have any business of ever catching, like Golden Tate used to be. He takes that role of our offense, of just a guy who just, behind the back, the ball bounces 3 times off of a defender's helmet or something, and then he catches it one-handed behind his back and falls to the ground. He makes those insane catches, and that's why he's been on the roster. But I do agree. I think the youngsters have definitely kicked him kind of. He has not been targeted nearly as much in recent games as he would in the past. I think you're right.
Okay, yeah. What do you think, Rob?
Yeah, I kind of had this revelation as you're asking the question. I feel maybe Curse has never really recovered from the Green Bay game, the NFC Championship game. The 3 of Russell Wilson's 4 interceptions were on passes that were to Jermaine Kearse in that game, and 2 of them were right off of his hands on a slant route.
Yeah.
Now he went ahead and redeemed himself with a touchdown at the end of the game. But then also the pass to Jermaine Kearse in the Super Bowl was to Jermaine Kearse in the Super Bowl that got picked off by Malcolm Butler. So I don't know. I think in this year he's been getting less opportunities, and on the opportunities that he has had, he's had a few drop balls. It's
several pass interference plays.
Yeah. I just think that maybe he's just off his game, and maybe he knows he's being superseded by these other guys, and maybe it's in his head. I have to agree. He doesn't seem to be the same guy that he was previous to now.
I definitely think that he's an NFL caliber player. I would have to say he's more of a 4th or 5th receiver at this point. All right, I just want to throw out there on an interception that Richard Sherman had, which was his 49th. Is that right?
Yes, something like that. Yeah.
Which is the most since 2011 of any NFL player
Since he started.
On that very same play, I saw an injury to Earl Thomas, a hamstring injury. Has anybody heard whether he's going to be out for very long or not?
I haven't heard anything yet, but just a quick note. What I did notice about Earl Thomas and about just plays to the heart and the character of Earl Thomas. That ball was sailing, and I saw that Sherman was probably going to pick it off. But when Earl Thomas pulled up lame and reached back to grab his hamstring, did you see how he still stuck his other hand out to reach for that football?
Yes.
Despite the fact that he knew he was hurt and he was pulling up, he still put his other hand up there to try to knock that football away. Hopefully, I mean, at all costs, make the play, and I love that. But no, I haven't heard anything about his injury yet.
Okay. Well, hopefully it's not too long, because I want to say that if I were voting for defensive MVP of the NFL, Earl Thomas. I
at least in the discussion
at his level.
At least in the discussion, for sure.
For sure in the discussion.
Yeah.
All right. Got a great question for you guys here.
Uh-oh.
This one I actually got from a friend of mine at the bar when I was watching the game. Why does Dak Prescott get credit for his impressive rookie year, where Russell Wilson never got any credit?
Ooh, I know.
All right, Matt.
Cowboys.
Bias?
I guess I should elaborate.
Cowboys bias?
Yes, the Cowboys are. Remember, they're America's team, so they get all the media coverage, and so there's a lot more people who. And the honest truth is, just like Rob was saying earlier, we play in South Alaska, so we're up here in the corner, and we no one really notices us, and down there in Texas, I knew when I lived in Phoenix, most of the people I knew, if they were watching NFL at all, they were Cowboy fans. They weren't Cardinal fans in Phoenix. And so there's the whole south of the country that watches the Cowboys, and so there's more coverage on the Cowboys than there is on the Seahawks. So as a general result, you're going to see more emphasis. And plus, the other thing is that Russell Wilson came out of the gate as a potential starter, and Dak Prescott was viewed as a absolute project in the draft. He wasn't viewed as a guy who could come in right away at all. And
okay,
so
because I don't know. I remember in 2000, when did Wilson come in? 11?
Yeah.
11.
Yeah, 11. I remember 2011, there was a game against it was the UMad Bro game against the Patriots. And listening to the Patriots broadcast, they were just completely confounded by who this kid was. And when he hit that pass, that long bomb for the winning score, they were apoplectic and they were just shocked that some nobody dares come into New England and wins the game.
Stadium, yeah.
Nobody says that with Dak Prescott when he wins.
Well, and actually that game was won in Seattle, but anyways.
Was that in Seattle? Okay,
yeah, that game was in Seattle.
Right.
But still, it was against the Patriots, and they were.
Yes.
The Patriots expect to be.
It was not expected. It certainly had the element of surprise, I'd say. But I think just as much as as far as Dak Prescott getting all the media coverage and all the hoopla and whatnot. Yes, because it's Dallas, America's team, but also I think it has just as much to do with Tony Romo, because Tony Romo is supposed to be the Dallas Cowboys quarterback, and Tony Romo gets all the praise and all of the hate whatever direction the Cowboys go. Yeah. So I think the fact that someone else is coming in there and replacing Tony Romo and winning, that plays into why he's getting so much of the attention, because it's like, okay, this guy is winning, but what about Romo? Romo, it's because it's the absence of Romo that's getting Dak all this attention.
Matt, sorry, Rob. You're saying that Matt Flynn is not at the same level of a Tony Romo?
Not quite. I don't think it's quite there.
It's also, the media loves to gin up a quarterback controversy. They right. Always, whenever a team has no clear starter, they're always harassing the coach, and they're always, so and so should start. No, so and so should start. No, so and so should start. So they love to hype that up and play that up.
Sure, I guess. Okay, you guys make a lot of sense. It just frustrates me when I sit there and I listen for years, the last however many, 4 or 5 years, that Russell Wilson benefits from an amazing defense. He benefits from an amazing running game, and there can't be any possible way that this short little guy, from North Carolina or Wisconsin or wherever the heck he's from, could ever be any good. And then I see Dak Prescott, who gets the benefit of the best offensive line in the game, Dez Bryant, Jason Witten, and nobody ever brings up like, oh, by the way, you got Ezekiel Elliott to hand off to. Nobody ever brings that up.
Don't worry, the people who matter know Russell Wilson's one of the top quarterbacks in the game, and they know Dak Prescott's still learning. They know. Right. Don't worry.
And I tell you what, the world is going to learn this truth very well when Seattle knocks Dallas out of the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was talking with Abraham before we started here. When you look at the hypotheticals for playoffs, putting us up against Dallas or putting us up against New England, if you play 10 games against both teams, I say 9 times out of 10 we beat the Dallas Cowboys, and it's maybe 50-50 with the Patriots. So the Cowboys with the rookie quarterback, we saw what we did with the rookie quarterback today. And we know they're riding Ezekiel Elliott pretty hard. When it comes to playoffs, is he going to have anything left in the gas tank? Yeah. He's not used to that length of a schedule.
All right. Great commentary, guys. We got to run a break. When we come back, we're going to go around the league a little bit and take a look at next week. All right. This is Seattle Sports Union with Matt Page and Robert English. My name is Abraham DeWeese. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Seattle Sports Union. My name is Abraham DeWeese. This is Matt Page, and we got up here Robert English. We are Seattle Sports Union, the best in local Seattle sports commentary. We have a bunch of great articles. Check us out on seattlesportsunion.com. We have a bunch of great Facebook posts. Like us on Facebook. Also, we have great tweets from some of our best social media experts. Check that out at Seattle Sports U. We are at Seattle Sports Union. This is our YouTube episode. And I want to go around the league a little bit and talk about some of the Seahawks arch nemesis. For example, the Arizona Cardinals. Well, they just dropped another game. They're now 4-5-1. They
Three games back.
Mm-hmm.
We got a cushion.
They're done. They're toast. It's
Pretty much.
over, isn't it?
Well, for the division, yes. For the division, there's 6 weeks left, but I think they're pretty much done for the division the way we're playing.
What did you see out of them today, Rob? Is this the end of the mighty Cardinals?
The mighty Cardinals. Yes, this is exactly what I was telling everyone was going to happen. I said the Cardinals were not real. I said it all last year. The Cardinals are not real. Now it took until the divisional round before that actually became true. But I said the whole time the Cardinals aren't real, and they're not. They have now, the wave that finally broken and rolled back, and yeah, they're back to who the Cardinals. They are who we thought they were. The Cardinals. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not at all worried about the Cardinals any longer. The Seattle still is the class of the NFC West.
I did not think the Cardinals could handle all the defensive departures from last year. I do not think Carson Palmer was the player that he was for the last couple of years.
No.
And I think that their emphasis needs to be on their running back, David Johnson. But
yes.
they have been very, very reticent to switch to that run game.
He has 22 carries for 103 yards and a touchdown, and he had 7 receptions for 57 yards and another touchdown today. So they used him.
They used him.
They used him, but they are facing. I think right now they're at a crossroads, and I think they've never even really drafted another quarterback to hopefully take over for Carson when he loses his arm.
With the darn, yeah.
And I think they're reaching that point where they're going to have to face a very lengthy rebuild. And
what I think would happen with Arizona is that they built themselves for success right now.
Yeah.
And they didn't quite make it.
They didn't.
And they didn't really have, unlike Seattle, who's our core is intact, contractually speaking, for many years. I think they got themselves set up to win right away, and they didn't quite get there, and they've had a kind of a mass exodus of players. So it's left them hobbled at this point. So they just didn't quite hit their mark that they were looking for. Coming into two seasons ago and last season.
To build on your point, Rob, the Seahawks also took a look at players who were dead weight and got rid of them. We have the most rookies on our team of any team in the NFL.
We have the most undrafted players, too.
And we have the most undrafted players. We basically haven't been worried about players that we let go. We haven't been worried about the Russell Okungs. We haven't been worried about the Bruce Irvins. And those are players that you just can't afford them, and you'll just have to find some other way with a Cassius Marsh to replace Bruce Irvin. You'll have to find a Frank Clark to replace, Bruce Irvin as well. So, I mean, we haven't seemed to be we haven't had the concern because of the strong drafting.
We've kind of been constantly rebuilding as we go.
Yes.
We've been planning ahead as we go. And they went short-sighted. They went big all at once, and we're gonna put us over the top and get that championship. They didn't make it, and now they're left with all these aging players, except the running back, and they're left with big contracts, and they're left in kind of a situation where now they might not even make wild card. And next off season here coming up is going to be a harsh one for them. It's going to be a dark one.
What I find that's brilliant about the Seahawks as well, you take a look at a Matt Flynn, Tavares Jackson, quarterbacks that we thought were going to be the starters of this team. And what did this but management group do? They said, well, heck, if Russell Wilson's just going to take the job, we'll eat the money that we owe Matt Flynn.
Yeah, bye.
We don't Absolutely. Well, it's the culture. It's Pete's always compete mindset. It doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter where you came from. If you go out there and you take the job is yours. You go out there and you compete as hard as you can, and you do better than if you compete better than the other guy, you're taking the job, and that breeds winning. If I say
and it's also evident in Troymaine Pope and why they got rid of Christine Michael. And Pope, I guess, was just killing it in practice. He was throwing it just play me, with his actions, with his intensity, and he's earned a shot now, and so he's gonna play, and that's that philosophy from top to bottom in our organization, and that's why we're successful.
Guys, what's wrong with the 49ers? The 49ers,
they don't have anyone left on their team.
They played okay for a little while against the Patriots, and then the barn doors got blowed off real quick.
They don't have any depth left on the roster. They had all their defense leave. They don't have any of the skill players left on offense for Chip Kelly to work with. They don't have. It's a wasteland. It's an absolute wasteland of a roster, and so they're on track now for a one-win season. I mean, and that's kind of where everyone put them, at like a 2-1 win season, and so there's no real surprise, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know if I expect them to do quite this bad, but I think a mixture of poor management by the front office and a little bit of bad luck has left the 49ers where they are. I think they made a mistake going with Bortles. I think they should have stuck with Kaepernick.
Bortles started, and then Kaepernick.
Not Bortles.
Bortles started the season.
Bortles is the quarterback for the Jaguars.
He started with the 49ers.
You mean Gabbert?
Gabbert, I'm sorry. Yeah. Wow, we're both on that. Gabbert.
Like Rob and I are supposed to know about
like it matters. Yeah. Colin Kaepernick today, actually, though, 16 for 30, 2 touchdowns, 206 yards. Not too bad.
Right. Yeah, and actually, I was, I got the Sunday ticket, so I watched part of that game, I checked in on the game, and I was thinking, wow, yeah, exactly. I was thinking, wow, maybe we shouldn't be all too excited about beating New England because the 49ers are hanging with them. Yeah, but then I looked away for a moment, I blinked, and then I opened my eyes again, and they had 30 points. So I was like, okay, now it makes sense
to stay with them the whole game. That's the thing.
Right.
So this is utterly ridiculous what Matt's theory about the 49ers.
My theory?
They
don't have the depth.
Has everything to do with management and coaching.
No, if you don't have the talent.
Terrible ownership. terrible management, terrible coaching, and you see it as a product on the field. You know what? I hope they keep this general manager, I forgot his name already, Trent Baalke. I hope they keep Chip Kelly, because I'd like to see them for the next 10 years lose like they are now. This is a waste. It's a waste of a team.
Because he wants to laugh at me for Chip Kelly.
Yeah, Oregon fan. I like that. I love the failure by Chip Kelly. Anyway, what I see seriously, though, as the 49ers problem is I see just as you said, a dearth of players. There's nothing there. There's no quality and there's no quantity of
there's no depth. There are a few good players left. You can still see Navarro Bowman play. You can still see Kaepernick still actually. I don't know why he got such a bad rap. Again. What's that?
Bowman just got injured.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind then. Carlos Hyde isn't that bad of a running back, but he's not a main running back. He's not a feature back. He's a third down back. But he's got some talent. So there are some beginning pieces there that they need like 3/4 of a roster, and they don't have it. And so it's going to be. Everyone knew it was going to be a rebuilding process.
Last team in the NFC West that I want to touch on is one Los Angeles Rams. Hey, Matt, you're Jared Goff, former quarterback.
My Jared Goff?
Yeah. You're Jared Goff, the former quarterback of Cal Berkeley Golden Bears.
Bear raid offense.
He put up 17 completions, 31 attempts for 134 yards. How's that number 1 draft pick working out for the LA Rams?
Well, this is his first start.
That is his first start. Yes.
Let's give him a little bit of slack because it was his first ever start because they held him back for so long for some reason. Mm-hmm. And so
against a solid Miami Dolphins defense.
Yeah, he's playing in their fairly solid defense. I don't think you can really complain too much. He didn't throw an interception, which you could.
But he didn't.
He threw the ball 31 times, and he didn't throw 31 interceptions. Like I said, it could be worse. So the reality is you got it's too small of a sample size. You can't really judge the player yet. I don't know if they're handling him with kids' gloves. I don't know if I'd handle him quite so kid glovey if I was them. But number 1 draft pick, you better start putting up results now.
Another loss, Rob, and I know they're going to play the Seahawks strong because they always do for some stupid reason. But another
Watch us
loss,
lose it for no reason.
What's Jeff Fisher's outlook?
As far as his employment?
Yeah.
I mean, you got a rookie quarterback in there now. I would imagine Jeff Fisher has earned his stripes enough to at least get another season, maybe even 2. But the Rams, I think they made a mistake not just putting the kid in the beginning. Yeah. He's supposed to be the future of that franchise. Put him in the game. Today he looked okay. Well, he didn't really look okay. He didn't look all that great, to be honest. But but he was a little unsure in the pocket at times. But I mean, I'm not sure if the defense failed the offense or if the offense failed the defense, because they were winning that game for 54 minutes. Yeah, and then in the very last of the game, Miami went and scored twice and beat them. So I think if he could have managed to put just another field goal or another touchdown on the board, it might be talking about something different. Maybe they say, oh, hey, this kid's the truth. Yeah, I think as time goes on, he'll get better. It's his first start, like you said. So you got to give him a fair shake.
Maybe this is a long-term strategy by Fisher because he knows he's probably safe for another year because the ownership loves him. Maybe he knows, and so they're throwing the season so they can draft with their number 1 draft pick again, a top-flight wide receiver for him to throw to. So then he'd have Todd Gurley and he'd have an awesome wide receiver, and yeah, there you go.
Oh.
Interesting.
Master plan.
If they do that,
conspiracy theory. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Okay. Well, ifs and buts. If they were chips and nuts, would have a Merry Christmas, but it's not. I mean,
okay.
Anyway, you never heard that before?
How much wood could
that's a new one for me. Mine is if ifs were fifths, we'd all be drunk.
I like that one.
I like that one too.
That one's a good one. But no, I mean, it's a situation I think Fisher's done for. I think he's absolutely done for. He decided that he did not want to put Jared Goff in because I don't think he even wanted Jared Goff on this team. I think
it was the ownership who stepped in because they're moving to LA and they wanted the LA Golden Boy.
I think so too. I agree 100% with that, and I think they should have traded down, which is what Fisher wanted. He wanted them to trade down to get a bunch of picks, and get a bunch of players in.
Do another RG3 trade where they get like 17 picks and.
Sure, that would be fantastic. We got a couple minutes, guys. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're traveling out to the Bay, the other Bay, and going to take on Jameis Winston and the pewter posse. Rob. Well, they wear pewter, don't they? That's the color of their uniforms, pewter.
Okay.
But
I'll take your word for it.
I think it's a great nickname.
I
Rob,
think it is pewter. Yeah.
what do you see out of Jameis Winston and Mike Evans? Any reason for concern by the Legion of Boom?
Reason for concern? Well, I suppose any dynamic connection, connection between a quarterback and receiver should be reason for concern. Do I think those two guys can beat us on their own? No. But I mean, we still don't know what's going on with Earl Thomas. Without Earl Thomas back there, just being a factor, who knows? But I'm not really too worried about this game. I'm more than I am worried about the Tampa Bay personnel. I'm worried about the fact that we have to go all the way to Tampa Bay. Traveling to the East Coast, state of Florida, actually, we don't really win too often in the state of Florida. So having to go all the way across the country and play at the early time, it doesn't bode well for us a lot of times. We're playing a team that isn't as good as us, so we should go in there and come out victorious. But I think I'm more concerned about our ability to do what we do as the Seattle Seahawks than about what they might do to us.
Matt, last time we were out in Florida, the sprinklers went off at the Dolphin Stadium, and I believe we lost that game. I forgot about that. I get the feeling it's going to take some sort of act of craziness, some sort of act of God for the Buccaneers to beat us. You concerned?
I'm not concerned, but I'm not agreeing with you on the act of God. I think this is the NFL. I mean, the teams are too good to be. The differences, are too small. They can catch us on a bad day for us and a good day for them, and they can win. And that's the game. But in general, I think Winston is still pretty unpolished and can make enough mistakes. I think I'm confident in how the Legion of Boom can handle him, especially how we handled Carson Wentz today. I think Winston's still making some of those rookie mistakes, even though he's in year 2. And Mike Evans, he is a phenomenal receiver, but we handled Gronk and Tom Brady, so I'm not too afraid of this combo.
So Jameis Winston is kind of what I call your average quarterback. Has phenomenal games where he'll beat you, then games where he's going to lose it for you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Matt, did you ever win your bet with Sanju that Mariota would become the better quarterback? Because right now
we haven't come to a conclusion yet.
Haven't come to a conclusion.
Right now on the season, Mariota's having a better season.
I think Mariota is going to be the better NFL quarterback.
So do I.
I don't think the Winston is terrible enough to where you should get rid of him. I think he's one of those kind of Andy Dalton types who, hey, you might win with him, you might not. You got to put some talent around him.
Andy Dalton gets a bad rap though sometimes because this last season he wasn't his fault. But anyway,
well, Tampa isn't a good team even before Jameis Winston got there. But you guys might remember it was. Yeah, but remember it was it not last year but the year before when the last time we played Tampa came to Seattle and they were up 21-0 before we started playing football. You guys remember that? We had to come back and win that game, I think in overtime, right? Did they get into OT? Yeah, they went up 21-0 in that game, and Tampa was terrible. They were a terrible team that year. So you never know.
That's very important to remember, Rob. It goes back to what you said, Matt. Don't ever overlook anybody. Yeah. You don't just get a free W on the board. No. As much as we like to do that in the preseason, go up and down the wins and loss column and see what our record's going to be.
This is going to be a win. This is going to be a loss. This is going to be a win. This is going to be a loss.
Doesn't mean a darn
12-4.
Is that what you had, Rob? Is that what you had for our final record?
Honestly, I always come up with 12-4. Every time. I
always
picks
a tie. How come
no
one
you
picks
didn't
a
have
tie?
a tie in there?
Yeah, I never because how often? I mean, what are the chances they're going to tie, right? And then we go ahead and tie. No, I always come up with 12-4, and I really do go down the list and pick each game. I always come at 12-4.
Right, we got about 30 seconds. Was that even in 1992? You said 12-4.
12-4.
Dan McGuire, get in there. 12-4. We got about 30 seconds left. Rob, give me your best guess score on next Sunday against the Buccaneers.
Next week against the Buccaneers at the new sombrero they call it, right? We start slow. Tampa Bay probably scores first, field goal or touchdown. They'll score first, but we end up winning this game by 3 scores. I think we're going to blow them out.
Okay, Matt, what you got?
I'm gonna have to agree. I'm gonna go with a final score. Also, I think we're gonna start a little slow. Maybe they score first. I'm gonna say 31-10.
Okay, all right. I got a little bit closer than you guys. I have more of a 21-13 match. We'll cover. Don't worry, we'll cover, guys. All of you out there will cover. I want to give a big thanks out there to Robert English. Thanks for being on the show, Matt. Welcome back. Great to have you on the show. Bob Lucky is behind the camera. Big thanks out to him and to all you viewers out there. Thank you. We'll see you next week. Go Hawks.
Hey, the audience pointed out that your predictions aren't possible. We have a tie. 12-4 is not on it.
Yeah, we covered that.
We covered that.
Yeah.
We got it. We got it, producer.